Well, hello, welcome to another one of my videos. In this one, we're going to make some trees, scale trees, as in miniature ones. Wonderful. The scale is about this size, and the leaves are about that size, and the whole thing's made of paper. Now, just for this tutorial, I'll make a smaller one. I started with a Pringles can as the trunk of the other one, but let's make it smaller with just toilet rolls or rolls of cardboard that you might bend yourself. Work as fast as you can, be unfussy, jam them together, and with some cornflour paste, just wrap that round there and leave it to dry. And make a bunch of those. Then I'll take a couple of those that are dry and just stick them together in whichever way they will go, and glue them together with the paste and paper. And while that's drying, let's make some cones as well out of paper. Roll up some cones and then put 3 or 4 coats on of strips of paper around those cones so that they become more or less the same thickness as the cardboard here of those rolls. While that's drying, I've made a baseboard with some scrap bits of nailed, glued or screwed to that board. So that will go on top of there just to hold it. Then put a coat or 2 of paper over the whole lot if possible. Then with a cone, I'm just going to get the fat end and snip some bits around there to flange them out, and stick that and glue that on top with some little bits of strips of paper to secure those off. Then haphazardly just stick another one on with bits around also. Now, working super quick and totally whatever, I think this tree is telling me it's going to have a smaller cone. And I'll now start making some smaller cones and stick them on there. Now I think I'll stick a single cone on that one, and here I'll stick a double cone situation just to get a fork in it. Now, to aid in making of the cones, get a piece of broomstick and plane it down into a little bit of a cone. Then you want to get a piece of paper about that size and wrap it round once, and that'll give you the cone. Then, with another one, glue it up so that you can then use that one to then secure it, wrap it round. And there we have a cone, and that'll take a couple of coats, and just poke that out so it comes out. And there we are, we'll have a cone. Put another coat or 2 on that to make it sort of cardboardy. And for smaller cones, I just made 2 smaller sticks. One that basically finishes at the end of the other, so you've got one that's about this long and another one that will go on that one. And using half a sheet of that paper, once again wrap it round, then with another one, some glue on it, and come back the opposite direction, coming from there, and then with a stick of some kind or another, get that one out, and there we are with that size. And for some really small ones, I use a smaller stick and a smaller piece of paper. Glue once again. Now it's nice on each one of those. Now to go from the point again and just put one more layer on. So that will give us a nice little cardboard branch cone. Now from here I will start doubling and doubling those extensions, splitting and splitting. And that last one I'll just put on right on a cone on the tip. As the joints dry, it's good to put a reinforcement on the inside there by doing that, and then snipping on each side so that it wraps around the trunk. Now that we have a few of those smaller ones dry and ready, we can make a little cut in the bit that tends to go up like that. Make a couple of cuts there and on the opposite side as well, so that we can then bend one of those tabs up and two out, applying a little bit of glue to all those tabs, so that then we can apply them to halfway up a branch, so that you can get a division that just stick temporarily while we then glue some strips around those just to hold it on and let it dry. While that is all drying, we can turn our attention to the leaves or the foliage now. I'm going to take a photocopy page, and I'm going to glue with paste half on the, if it's blank on one side, that's good, and the letters, the printing on the other side, bend it over and glue that flat, and do a bunch of those and set them aside. When that is dry, I can double that over and then over again, and I like to just split along that double edge. Now I'm going to basically, you can do it by eye, but I'll give you an idea. Down halfway, we're going to cut the leaves on one half, and we'll probably get about 4 out of them, and 4 the opposite way. So now we cut in like this to halfway, then do the curve, then halfway in, and then do the curve, so that it comes just inside that point, and we should have 4 leaves. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. The opposite way now, we can now start at the point, go around straight, and then it's on the fold. So now I need to open up the fold and just snip those across, and we've got another 4. Now just keep doing that a few thousand times to get a whole bunch of leaves. Make lots of those while things are drying on the other front. Don't throw the scraps away, you can collect those for other paper mache projects. Now our aim is to make a whole heap of these things to then stick onto our branches. We're first going to make these ones with a leaf that we've just cut and a long stick to start with. So we take a photocopy piece of paper, double it over again, and we can, for this size, we can basically cut that into 3, I think, or 4, I suppose. So we've got strips of about that size. I'll get a whole bunch of those together. Snip them in half, and then we've got a whole bunch of those sticks ready. I'm going to take a kebab stick or something nice and similar and paste that stick. Then I'm going to put it diagonally on the pointed tip like that, double it over, pinch it in with my thumb nail and start to roll it, and then put a leaf in there and roll the whole lot up onto the stick. Then pinching the stick, pull it off, flip it over, and then start twisting that just to get it started. And then if it's dry enough, you should be able to start twirling it, maintaining that so that it twirls. And there we have the stick. Bite it there, and also it helps to put a little bit more paste on that point there and twirl it around so that that point will be nice and firm when it dries. So there's one stick. Repeat that several hundred times like this. Now this part you're going to repeat a few thousand times probably. Take one of these, a leaf, and the paste, and 1, 2, 3, just a quick paste. Put it diagonally like that, hold it with your fingers, and then wind it round the stick on the diagonal, and then hold it with your thumb and forefinger. Next one between there, and then come from the opposite on top, putting it on top of where you've just been so that it helps to hold it or seal it in there. Then hold that with your thumb. Next leaf, grab another one between your other fingers like that. Bit of glue, put it on the underside, wrap that round. Next leaf, on the edge of the pot, just pull it through, stick it on, and decide how many leaves you're going to put there. I think I'll put another 1 or 2. And there we have the beginnings of that. And then I'll put it on the table edge here, and just make sure that that last piece is gluing on, and all of those will basically clamp each other on, and then just make sure that that last one is on there. Leave it in a row for them to do, and then get the next one going the same. Now once all that's dry and everything, now we're going to paint it. We could give it a coat of paper towel, or even a texture with paper mache molded or whatever, but I'm just going to paint it and see what it looks like, just straight on there. And if it it looks like it's going to need it, I could always put another layer of paper towel on top. And also we can start painting the leaves. I just do one side and set that side to dry. And when they're dry, I just come back and run through and do the other side in one big run. And with a little drop of glue on the end, the first ones we're going to put in is into the end of those little branches. Let's just poke them in the end of the branch. By the time you get a leaf stick in the ends of each of those branches, you're getting a thin coverage already. Now we're going to do some filling in by taking a pointy object like this pointy thing here and pierce a hole through those smaller branches, and with a little dab of glue on that we can then glue it into the hole and just fill in and fill and fill and fill spaces.